Hello everyone, it's the unit radical and fractional inequalities, and we are going to learn this lesson how to solve radical inequalities. So let's recall quickly what is the inequality and what's the radical inequality. The inequality is a function with variables and constants that holds unequal sign instead of equal sign. The function that holds the equal sign we call equation, and this is inequality. So the radical inequality, that it's the inequality that holds a root or radical in it, whatever the index of the root, whether odd or even, cubic, quadratic, or square root, or any other root. So the expression that's sitting underneath the radical is called radicand. So in order to solve for x, or for the variable, for this radical inequalities, we use two properties for the radicals. First one is the negative radicand property. We always, when we have the radical that is for the power, the even power 2 or 4, 5, 6 or whatsoever, we need to check for the this property, which is negative. That means that, or that states that the radicand can't be calculated as a final value that is negative. I mean, in other words, that the underneath, the expression underneath the radicand, the even one, of course, must not be less than 0. Always has to be greater than or equals to 0, and we always check for the even radical inequalities. After that, we use the other property, which is removing the radicals. And we know in equations like inequalities, we can't proceed solving the inequality for the variable while the radical is existed. So what I'm going to do here is removing the inequality, removing the radical by raising both sides of inequality to the index of the root. Let's take a look on examples and see how does that work. First example here is 2x, the square root of x plus 2 is less than or equal to 4. So this is a square root, it's even, and we need to check whether, so this will be x plus 2 has to be less than 4, and x plus 2 has to be greater than or equals to 0, which is what inside the radical. This is using the negative radicand property. So raise this inequality both sides to the power 2 in order to get rid of the radical. So we have here x plus 2 is less than square root, square 4 is 16. Now get rid of 2 by subtracting. We have here x is less than or equal to 14, but we have to check here x subtracting 2, then x is greater than or equal to minus 2. It's in condition. So the solution is x less than 14 and x is greater than or equal to minus 2. So what is the solution here? We can express it by interval, which is x, or inequality sign, an interval which is minus 2 to 14. This is the solution. Or x is less than 14, greater than or equal to minus 2. This is the solution. Let's take a look on the other example. Before we start here, the x plus 6 supposed to be less than or equal to a negative number, and we know that this expression inside the root supposed to be positive, and positive number can't be less than a negative number. This inside the root is a positive number, and this can't be less than a negative number, so this is not right. In this case, we say no solution for this inequality. Let's see more examples. For this example, it's 3 multiplied with the square root of x squared plus minus 9 plus 2 less than 14. Let's see here. First, we need to get rid of this in order to isolate only the radical expression in the left side. So minus 2 and minus 2 means 3 square root of x squared minus 9 less than 12. Here divided over 3. We don't forget here the term that the negative radical property, which states that x squared minus 9 has to be greater than or equals to 0. Now we have this expression x squared minus 9 under the square root less than 2, 4, and now we raise both sides of the inequality to the power 2, so x squared minus 9 is less than 16. I will take this to the other side and change its sign, or simply subtract minus 16 from both sides of the equation gives us x squared minus 9 minus 16 less than 0. So x squared minus 25 less than 0. This is a full square. We can factorize it by x plus 5 and x minus 5. If x plus 5, x minus 5 less than 0, negative, one of these terms should be negative, either this one or this one. We have another condition here, which is x squared minus 9 greater than or equals to 0. This is a full square. We factorize it in order to solve for x. 0, x plus 3 and x minus 3. We have all of these as points of interests. So when x plus 5, so x here is supposed to be greater than 5, greater than minus 5, and less than 5. Having another condition here is x greater than 3 or less than minus 3. We can take the final solution. Okay. We have here 3 and 5 as points of interest, minus 3 and minus 5. So these points here, this interval here, between 3 and 5, x squared, for example, let's take 4 squared 16, 16 minus 9 gives us a positive number. And so in this inequality, the solution will be can't be greater than 5 or less than 5. It will be minus 5 to minus 3 union minus 3 and 5. I mean these intervals here. If we take any number between them, for example 1 minus 9 gives us a negative number under the square root. It doesn't exist, so we can't take any number between minus 3 and 3. And if we take a number over than 5, greater than 5, for example 6 squared 36 minus 9 under the square root multiplied with 3, it can't be greater than less than 14. It's greater than 14, so no, it can't solve this inequality. So the interval that is applicable for both inequalities here is the interval minus 5 to minus 3 and 3 to 5. Let's take a look on this example here. The square root of 2x minus 6 less than or equal to 2. We can take it as a cubic. Let's try an odd radical. In this case, this is isolated and no need to check underneath the radical because it's odd. So all we need to do is just 2x minus 6 less than or equal to 2. Raise both sides to the power index, which is a 3 here. 3. We have 2x minus 6 less than or greater to 2 to the power 3, which is 8. Now add 6 to both sides of inequality. 2x is less than or equal to 14. That's it. 2x is equal dividing both sides of inequality over 2 gives us x is less than or equal to 7, which is the solution of this inequality. I mean, less than or equal to 7 means from minus infinity to 7 included. This is the solution of this. We didn't check the negative radical property here because it's cubic, and 2x minus 6 to the cubic root can be either positive or negative. All we did here just we need to isolate. If not isolated, it's isolated already, the radical expression. Then we just use the radical removing property by raising both sides of inequality to the power 3. That is it for this video, and I hope it was very helpful for you, and see you guys next time. Thank you.